evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, the Independent National Electoral Commission declares All Progressive Grand Alliance candidate Willie Obiano winner of the Anambra governorship election. It's mixed feelings as candidates of other political parties react to the result of the Anambra governorship polls. President Mahmoud Buhari felicitates with former President Goodluck Jonathan as he turns 60. And Zimbabwe's embattled leader Robert Mugabe vows to stay on in power till the end of the year, in spite of pressure on him to step down immediately. Begin from Awka, the Anambra state capital, where the governor, Willie Obiano, has won another four-year term in office. Mr. Obiano scored a total of 234,071 votes in the governorship election, which took place throughout the state on Saturday to beat his closest rival, Tony Nwoye of the All Progressives Congress, who polled 98,752 votes. The results were announced by the chief returning officer for the election, Professor Zana Akpabu, in front of party agents, journalists and election observers at the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Awka, the Anambra state capital.
After a tasking journey which culminated in the polls, the mood at the INEC Collation Center in Awka, the Anambra state capital, is pensive, as representatives of the various political parties look on while the results are reeled out.
We've documented the complaints.
The process is not without its fair share of drama. Tempers flare as a chieftain of the All Progressives Grand Alliance points out a discrepancy and objects to some of the results being announced.
I think my colleague got it wrong, because the report received was that during accreditation, the card reader was abandoned, and that means there was no accreditation in those polling units, since the card readers were not employed.
The electoral officers give account of how events played out in their various local government areas. There are outright cancellations of results in some polling centers where electoral malpractice ranging from overvoting to ballot snatching was recorded.
One of the presiding officers was molested and almost threatened to be thrown to the Niger for failing to obey some of the people who came to the party, to the venue of the party of the elections.
The number of accredited voters was 165, but the number of votes recorded was 205.
However, the bar is set high, and the electoral umpire is not leaving anything to chance. Some of the results undergo further scrutiny for inconsistencies. Finally, the much anticipated moment. The chief returning officer reads out the final results and announces the winner of the tightly contested Anambra governorship election.
Nwoye Tony Okechukwu of APC, 98,000 votes, 752, 98752. Willie Maduabuchi Obiano of Abga, 234,071 votes. Oseloka Henry Obaze of PDP, 70,293 votes. Osita Chidoka of UPP, 7,903 votes.
Shouts of celebration rent the air as the candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Willie Obiano, carries the day.
Willie Maduabuchi Obiano of Abga, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
The incumbent governor will be returned re-elected as the man who occupies the #1 seat in the state, winning in all the 21 local government areas. With the Anambra governorship election done and dusted in what is largely described as a peaceful exercise, the race is not quite over for the electoral umpire. All eyes are now on the Independent National Electoral Commission as its performance in Anambra is seen as a yardstick on how things will play out in the 2019 general election. Emana Amawe, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the Willie Obiano campaign organization, Chief Victor Ome, says he is not surprised at the outcome of the elections. He says Governor Willie Obiano has touched the lives of the citizens of Anambra in several positive ways, and the people have decided to reward him with a second term in office.
I don't think he neglected anybody in the first 4 years. Anybody saying that he's been economical with the truth. Otherwise, they wouldn't have won this election in this fashion, landslide across the entire state. Let me say that in his first term, he has been able to do quite a lot in terms of physical infrastructure, human capital development, and he's been able to create a healthy government state workforce. He's done a lot in agriculture, he's done a lot in education, he's done a lot in the healthcare system, where he has also introduced the state health insurance scheme so that everybody will have access to healthcare, you know. A lot of great things he has done. He has also started an airport project, which he promised he would deliver in 3 years. The statement made today is a very strong statement by the people of Anambra State, and is an endorsement that Obiano has done well in the first term, and they want him to continue for another term in office.
And expectedly, some of the candidates that took part in the election have been reacting to the outcome of the polls. Candidate of the United Progressive Party, Osita Chidoka, has conceded defeat and congratulated the winner of the election. He, however, said that he lost the election to the superior financial firepower of Governor Willie Obiano's All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA. In similar vein, the candidate of the Progressive People's Alliance, Godwin Ezimo, has congratulated Governor Willie Obiano on his victory at the polls. He says although the election was characterized by irregularities, the interest and love of Anambra people is of more concern to him. Some others, however, describe the exercise as flawed.
I want to congratulate the governor-elect of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano. I wish him well in this new tenure, and pray that Anambra State will move forward this time around. I'm here to assist wherever I can, because I know I love my state. Thank you. There were faults, but I mean, Anambra's interest is more important than my personal interest. Okay? That's it.
How would you say INEC failed?
I think there are some components of the electoral process that needs to be fixed. First, we can't be in 2017 and still be dealing with the perennial challenges of deployment of election materials. Compared to Ondo, for instance, we didn't have the challenge of late arrival of materials. But in this case, as at 7:30 a.m., only 28% of polling units, based on our data, showed that INEC officials had arrived the polling station at 7:30. Now, if you look through, in some polling stations, elections even didn't hold. Now, that presents a source taste for us, because this election is critical for us marching towards 2019, and it needs to be fixed.
I'm happy about the voter turnout. Clearly, from what we have seen, the way the victory, if you look at the results from it, and assess the results, it is very obvious that it is such a way as probably not for anybody to have doubt as to the general veracity of the outcome, because when you see the margin, it was about 55%, victory. And I mean, that's what the person that won got. And if you look at that, I think basically it is a kind of result that does not leave the room in anybody's mouth.
Various election monitoring groups have been commenting on their observations during the electioneering processes in the recently concluded governorship election in Anambra State. Despite some of the shortcomings outlined, they're, however, of the opinion that there has been significant improvement from past exercises in the state.
With the election result for the Anambra State governorship election declared, various monitoring groups have been commenting on their observations during the electioneering process. The head of the working group of the Young Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, who received data from 250 sampled polling units in the 21 local government areas of the state, speaks on election logistics, among other issues.
The management of election logistics for the elections was significantly poor, especially in rural areas. For Oka North and Oka South local government areas, INEC officials arrived 66% and 69% of polling units by 7:30 a.m., while the average for the state was only 28%.
Similar report comes from the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, with spotlight on the delay in the prompt commencement of the polls. The coordinator of the program, Mr. Clement Nwanko, however, notes that despite initial fears, the election was conducted peacefully. As for the Nigerian Bar Association Election Working Group, the opening of polls in some of the areas monitored were prompt.
In most of the polling units observed, there was a significant turnout of senior citizens, women, and persons with disability. In all the polling units observed, the presiding officers and the supervisors confirmed that they received a full complement of electoral materials.
With the elections done, lessons from the observer groups, if taken into consideration, will no doubt ensure a better coordinated election in future.
In part two, after the break, Katsina State government moves to stem cases of drug abuse and restiveness among youths in the state. Stay with us.